How are we doing today? Yes, I live in a happy house, man. You don't know. How's everybody doing today? I am Herman from H&D Abroad, and it's so good to be with you again on this edition of Man Monday. Um, it has been a while since I've been on a Monday night. We've been traveling and moving about, and this was an opportunity to come in and just share a little bit of thoughts on some things I had on my mind. I wanted to share about the health of Black men, and really excited to be here today. Just for those of you who don't know us, here at H&D Abroad, we focus on helping Black couples in particular see moving abroad as a plan A through generational wealth and healthy living. We share that through our experience, our personal journey, moving to move abroad. Um, we have not chosen a place yet, but we're narrowing it down and sharing this experience with those around us. So if this sounds interesting to you, if this is content you would love to participate in, ask you subscribe, ask that you would hit the notification bell, and please share these and other videos with those you know. If you're here viewing us today, please get on and give us a shout out in the comment section. Let us know you're here. As I say every week, this is a conversation. We're here to talk together and share in a conversation. So, gonna jump right in. Not here long tonight. Just want to say, if you're watching from the future, please, also make some comments in the comment section about what you see, as well as we're asking that you all provide us with content suggestions of things you'd like to hear me and my beautiful wife Dee share with you. So, starting today, I wanted to talk a little bit about health. So often when we hear you're trying to be healthy or this is a healthy meal, we there's an immediate, especially in men, there's an immediate knee-jerk reaction that this is not going to be interesting. This is going to be boring. This is going to be bland. This is going to be, you're going to stop me from doing things that I enjoy. And I think that too often we misinterpret what healthy can be. So I just wanted to kind of touch on a few things as to think about as men and as Black men in particular about being healthy. How you doing, Catherine? Good to see you. And anybody else watching, please let us know you're here and joining on the conversation. The first obvious is physical health. A lot of men today are doing better about spending time looking into their personal health, exercising, getting out, beginning to spend more time trying to check on conditions that are passed down from family. But I think one of the problems that we have, one of the problems I face is consistency. I have watched my weight over this holiday season to now balloon a bit, which for me at 50 is a concern. Being in a mindful place about my weight and about my health is important, especially considering health risks that run in my family and health challenges I've had in the past. It can change so quickly, and the smallest attention to detail can really be helpful and important in maintaining physical health. One of the things that a doctor shared with me some time ago, which I try to be mindful about, is they say walk for walking's sake. If you're not in a habit of exercising, if you're not in a habit of putting in 30 to 60 minutes a day of physical time, it can seem really daunting to kind of jump into an exercise program because you're realizing that can be painful. It can be stressful. It can be embarrassing to jump into a physical program where you're not used to exerting energy and stretching muscles and putting in the effort like that. And it is a discipline, but it can be really important in starting things like that. It's simple projects, going for a walk, um, 30 minutes of walking every day, and not a stroll. I mean, good, energetic walking, spending some time really stretching your legs, stretching your muscles, doing things like chair exercises at home, stretching at the end of the day. One of the habits we have as men, because a lot of us are, especially those of us involved in physical labor work, is we assume because we're physically active in a job that we're having some level of exercise. And what a lot of people don't realize is your body peaks out when it has something it does normally. Um, so even if you're stretching and lifting and picking up bricks and moving and pushing lawnmowers, if that's all you do physically, it becomes the norm and your body peaks out. Um, One of the things that I learned back when our kids were small, we got a lot of Billy Blanks. I don't know if y'all remember Billy Blanks and the Tybo. And one of the things that Billy shared in his video is, in exercising, you have to change up over the course of the exercise regime. Change the exercise you're doing. If you're walking down the street and you're used to striding, stretch as you walk. Change the direction of your arm, of your process, and your body has to readjust to that new motion, to that new energy, to the new area where it needs to send blood flow. New places that need the fat burned, and energy builds energy and fat burning energy. And those simple things are good ways to start building the exercise part of our physical health. Sometimes it's easier to do it with a partner or a group of people. For those of you who can, join the gym. Um, join the gym and say, hey, here are my challenges. I want to be able to do more, and create a social space at a gym that feels comfortable to do that in. There are people who don't like you talking to them at the gym, but find a space where you feel comfortable saying, hey, I'm exercising with other people. I'm engaging with other people. I like to walk with Dee at night or in the afternoon when I'm home. And that is it makes the walking process something you forget to do. You're doing it because you're in motion. And we set a pace and we go. And we talk about the day. We solve problems. We plan for the future. We talk about YouTube content. It's a motion process that your body does because you're in motion. And so sometimes having a partner that works for you. Some of us may need more structured process. So if you can, get a trainer, someone who you meet with once or twice a week, who says, this is what you're going to do. Under my wife's health insurance, we had a program that sent us a computer system, like a laptop, tablet, that gave us a prescribed physical program that we specifically work on certain parts of our body. And each week or each couple of weeks, the physical therapists that associated with that program upped our program, so that we had to increase the level of difficulty as we move through the program. It's guided physical exercise, so you're not trying to have to remember to do it yourself. You had to be invested in it because we have to get on it ourselves. We have to clock in the time. They're not calling us and saying, hey, you didn't get on. You have to invest. You have to step into the process. But there's somebody who guides you through the process. Hey, I noticed that you're having some problems in this area. How did you feel? What's going on? Because sometimes we have problems because we don't know how to explain the challenges we're having in a physical exercise, or we don't know how to have somebody tell us to do it right. We don't see ourselves, so we don't know we're standing wrong or holding ourselves wrong. So those kinds of little processes in the exercise process can be helpful. Another obvious one is the food we eat, how we eat, what we eat, when we eat. Um, you have people who have different challenges towards foods. You have people who are stress eaters. As things are hard, as things are worried, they eat. You have people who are snackers. They eat, and for most people, that is that creates an unfortunate event of weight and health problems. Now, just to be fair, I had my very first job on campus when I was in college was a little lady who was over the social work department, and that little lady walked around the office all day eating something all day. I mean, the whole time I was on shift, she was eating. She was nibbling this, she was biting that. But till this day, and I see her pretty regularly, and she is near 80. She is that big. Most of us don't have metabolisms that work like that. And if we are constant eaters, um, our bodies will reflect it. Now, there are programs, there are theories and philosophies that have different ideas about how many meals you should have a day and how much should be in a meal and what constitutes a meal. First and foremost, I think you need to research with your doctor what is the best meal plan for you based on your body type, based on your body history, based on your family history, based on the kind of things your mouth is drawn to. If you're eating bags of chips all day long, it doesn't matter how much nibbling you're doing, it's going to come and get you. Sodium is a thing. Carbs are a thing. Fat is a thing. And uncontrolled lead to some very serious health problems. And so you want to be mindful. Even in eating fruit all day, you have to be mindful because you're adding sugars to your diet. And you have to, diversity is important. As a culinarian, one of the things that I think is that is shared in the culinary world for healthy eating, which I think is important, is eating the rainbow. You know, if your plate is beige, you have either killed all your food or you are eating foods that are not rich in nutrients. You should have greens and oranges and purples and reds, and the colors of the rainbow should be on your plate. That healthy eating expands your body's ability to burn, to get nutritious foods, to improve, and it makes your body be energetic and want to do more. Um, an apple in the morning. You've heard the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Bananas for potassium. Um, uh, Greens for iron. We love eggplants, and 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 one of the things I want you to recognize, one of the things I'd like for our community to get away from is I don't like that. I don't eat that. Because 90% of the time, those are things we either A, have had a bad experience with 30, 40, 50 years ago, or we've never had. Um, we come from a culturally diverse people where we are, I believe, very nomadic in our diets. While Dee and I were at our most recent house sit, I had the opportunity to go to a West African restaurant where they were selling suya, Suya, suya roasted foods. Suya is a spice from West Africa. I bought myself some of that. I'm at home experimenting with it. Bearberry from Ethiopia. Uh, Sweet potatoes, uh, porridges made from rice and oatmeals, green leafy vegetables, kales and spinaches and collard greens and mustard greens and turnip greens and root vegetables, potatoes and turnips and beets. There is no shortage of foods and diversity, which if you spend the time learning and playing with, create a great palette of food that don't include meat. We're not just talking about, we're talking about just earth foods. Don't misunderstand me. There are a lot of, as my friend calls herself, meativores, meatitarians in the world, and that is that is a battle for the carnivores and the vegans. I'm not here for that battle. I'm telling you, be more diverse in your food. I D is plant based, which is primarily vegan, and as a vegan, her plate is vegetables. I am plant forward, which means I have some meat in my diet, but minimal in a majority of my diet. I try to keep to a plant based type of diet. Even in the plant based world, okay, so let's talk process, let's slide to processed foods for a minute. Even in the plant based world, processed foods are high in sodium. It can be very frustrating to, at the end of a day, try to figure out a meal. Um, to figure out how am I going to pull together uh, something nutritious to eat when I'm tired, when I'm burnt out. It's easy to pick up fast food on the way home. It's easy to throw something in the oven from the Tyson's bag or the whatever at home. And my kids are in the ramen noodles, and I was like, this little pack of ramen, this little square of ramen, and a little seasoning packet that comes with that. They are 360 milligrams of sodium in that. And they are suggesting that that little packet is for two people, which means half of that packet and half of that seasoning is 360 milligrams, not the whole packet. The whole packet is 720 milligrams of sodium. And those are things we miss. Those little shortcuts. I'm hoping to, in the near future, do a few prep things and show you how to work through a few prep things. But one of the things to do is to find your off day and do some prepping. And it may be several days of prepping. So if you're home tonight and you know you're going to make a meal and you're going to have onions with the meal, don't cut half an onion, cut 3 onions. Put the rest of the onions in the bag, put them in the refrigerator. I buy large bags of peeled garlic from our big box bulk store, not to call any names. And then with that peeled garlic, I come home, I pour that fresh peeled garlic into the food processor, and I process it down to I have a lot of it already peeled, already crushed. Because one of the most frustrating things is trying to chop garlic. But preparing things like that, little projects that you can then put in the refrigerator, put in the freezer, and later become something that you throw together with a meal that you bring home, then a pre-roasted chicken or just some chicken breast or some fish that you roast in the pan, and you put these things together because you have pieces already together, controlling your meal. Men, pack your lunches. You pack your lunches for 2 reasons. One, you control what you eat, and two, you control how much money you are spending. I see Sandra here from Lack the Legacy. She money is the thing, and the smallest habits can break your bank. Um, and planning and preparing help you say, okay, I know how much salt I put in this. I know how much oil I used in this. I know how much butter I put in this. I know I need to back off. I'm in control of this. And I chose the best meats. I chose the best types of vegetables. I diversified my plate, and I have then a better diet and a better eating process. And yes, as David said, it is definitely an investment. It is a process that you have to take, that takes time. It takes time. It is a commitment to yourself to say, I want to be a healthier man. I want to be a healthier person. I want to be a healthier individual. And I want what flows through my body to be energetic. And finally, on the physical tab is rest, sleep. For adults, it is recommended 7 hours of sleep a night. Sleep and rest are not the same thing. When we were kids, my dad made us go to bed at 7 o'clock. You're talking about in the early 80s. So the first several years of Knight Rider, I listened to my mother watching it in the next room before I ever saw an episode. I never got to see V because I was in bed at 7 o'clock. And growing up in Florida at 7 o'clock in the beginning of the school year, the sun was still shining. My friends were still playing outside. And my father would say, you don't have to go to sleep, but you got to rest. Um, rest is a Rest is an art we've lost. We find ways to go to sleep. We fall asleep. We drop off at sleep. We collapse at the end of the day. We drink wine so we can fall asleep. We take supplements. But we don't prepare ourselves for sleep and rest. And some things that I would recommend to do. When I had my health issue a few years ago, when I returned home, I bought a diffuser. And we bought essential oils. Sorry, brain went sleep for a minute. We bought essential oils and added essential oils to the diffuser, which promote restfulness. And restfulness can assist with sleeping. So lavender, sandalwood, eucalyptus, ylang ylang. Those are things that help with the resting process. We add them to the shower. We add them to the tub. We add them to the diffuser, and they assist with resting. Some kind of white noise. So the sound of rain on a black screen YouTube channel with the sound of thunder and rain, or the sound of oceans, or buying a white noise machine. These things are little things that can help promote sleep. Some types of meditation. We have never had and never planned to have a television in our room. No television in our room. So that we are not up watching TV. If we're watching TV, we're up. We're in our space watching TV. When we go to bed, there's no TV, no computer in the room. We try, doesn't always successful. We try not to work in our room so that our minds don't associate the room with work. One thing we definitely still have to work on is putting the phone down at least 30 minutes to an hour before we go to bed. So your brain disassociates that blue light. And you take away the noise of social media and watching and listening, and your brain isn't energized and moving and thinking. And I'll go back to a minute here. I'll skip back to the eating thing. Stop eating late at night. Stop eating and dropping off to sleep. You make your body work. If your body is still working while you're trying to sleep, your body is not resting. And that loss of rest means you're still tired when you wake up in the day because you were asleep, but your body was working hard all night. Our heavier meals should be, our meals should decline in weight and heaviness as we move down through the day. Breakfast should be the heaviest meal of the day. People say, oh, I don't like to eat breakfast. Because your body needs energy from fasting, the fast. That's where the word comes from, breakfast, breaking the fast of sleeping. But if you only slept 3 hours, 4 hours, you didn't fast, you didn't rest. So those are some things I would suggest for the physical body. Then our mental health. Our mental health, there is a large stigma on therapy in the Black community, and especially, unfortunately, amongst Black men. Having someone who can help you process the pictures in your head, because unfortunately, sometimes as men, we draw more pictures than we draw words. And having someone who says, translate that into words, put that picture and draw that picture for me. Okay, how does that tie into this? Where are you feeling this? We have individual trauma, and we have generational trauma directly from our families as well as from the history of our people in this country. And it wears on us even when we haven't personally had an experience we might call traumatic. And having someone with whom you can process your life. People say, "Oh, people gonna know my business," or they're just giving me book philosophy, and there's all kind of fears. And I will tell you, as a healthcare professional, as a behavioral health specialist, your time with a therapist is confidential. All that you say, all that you share is confidential. And you should have different areas and different aspects of your life in which you can utilize a therapist. Many of us who have good insurance plans through our jobs are have access to free use of therapy through our company, through our health insurance. They give you a set of days that you can use on a topic. We get 8 per topic, and when we get to the end of that 8 sessions, I come with a new topic, and I can get another 8 sessions. And you utilize that as long as you need the support to say, "I want to grow. I need to heal." Therapy is important. And for things like depression, I think so often as men, we don't recognize depression. A loss of motivation, loss of the ability to create, sadness, anger, can often be signs of depression. I went through several versions of unemployment that at times were quite extended in time frame, and did not recognize that I may have also been in depression because of what felt like the inability to make life move forward, to make life go in a direction that I wanted it to go, and have some level of control over it, have some level of confidence in the abilities that I had trained myself in and allowed myself to be trained in, so that I could be, as they call us, a contributing citizen. And when nobody wants to hire you, when nobody gives you credit, when you feel misunderstood, when you feel disconnected, and that disconnect can translate from the job place to the home to those things can increase the levels of depression. In addition, as men, as we get older, we tend to decrease the number of support people around us, friends, people we connect with. And therefore, then that social outlet is lacking. And so the depression increases, the loneliness increases. These are things we have to protect. Engage the world. Find a hobby. Find a task. Find some things you like that you do and enjoy that are yours to do, and engage in them. I'm talking to me. Bad habits. So I'm talking to me. I'm sharing with you, but I'm talking to me, because it's really easy to say, I need to take care of this, and I need to take care of them, and I need to go here, and they need that, and this needs that, and get preoccupied and say, this is how I stay busy. When you are totally just trading several hours of the daytime work to hours of the nighttime work or the weekend work, and you don't have anything which is an outlet. Bowling, boxing, woodcraft, something that's not a chore and a task, something that's not required of you or expected of you, something in which you find joy and interest. And these things, I think, are important to building our mental health and mental stability. And then finally, our spiritual health. This can be a touchy area because as I've said before, as I'm getting older, I'm separating spirituality from religion. Um, that is in no way meant to be a disrespect of people's religious beliefs and traditions. It is for me to say that I believe the Creator gave us a spiritual self. Um, he gave us an ability, not just a spiritual self between ourself and the divine, but our spiritual self that happens between us socially as people. I understand we all are, some are introverts, some are extroverts. New word I learned that they add all the time in psychology. Then some of us are ambiverts. Most of us are ambiverts. That space right in the middle where we lean one way or the other. We tend to call ourselves introverts or extroverts, but very few people are truly at those ends of spectrum. Those are psychological terms which are extreme, which often require some level of intervention. Most of us fall in the middle and we lean one way or the other. But that social engagement is important. That community is important to building, to maintaining our spiritual health as well. You may not attend church, but if you are not spending time connecting to your spiritual self, to your meditative self, there is yoga, there is, my wife did Reiki. There are many forms of things that connect us to our spiritual selves. I'm learning, especially as people of color, that we come from we have taken on fasting as from a religious approach instead of from a spiritual approach. Okay, there are purposes to fasting, extended fasting, that are for the healing and the rejuvenation of the body. Those things tap into things that we tend to words that we find taboo often in religion, like hallucinations, or visions, um, things like assisted things like herbal assistance. I'm not telling you to do drugs. I'm not telling you to smoke weed. I'm telling you that there is a history in our people and in the people of the Orient, of which Africa is a part of, that is a part of the spiritualness that we have lost in the religiosity of how we've been trained in the last 300-400 years. Tap back into what is spiritually best for you, not for the people with you and the people around you, and when you go once a week or twice a week, but what is your daily spiritual self? What is your connection to your heart matters, to taking time to hearing your spirit speak to you. If you are paying attention, you recognize that these three things cannot exist individually. They have to be interconnected. The triangle that shows mind, body, and spirit are intentional. If your body is not healthy, your mind is not healthy, and your spirit is weak. If your spirit is not in tune, it does not matter how much you work out, how well you eat, and how much sleep you get. Your spirit will be weak and your body will be weak. Your soul will be weak. If you treat your body wrong or don't eat well, the effect is cumulative, both in the negative sense and in the positive sense. As men, I would encourage us to be more intentional about making a connection to our minds, our bodies, our spirits, holistically, our health. It is a commitment. It requires practice. It requires sacrifice, because you may have to say, I'm giving up these things for a time. For me, this is no meat. There's no meat march because I need to take a step back and reevaluate because I know the kinds of things meat does to me. Excessive meat, I gain weight. It affects me and how I interact. It affects my temperament. These are things that I know. And because I know them, I have to make changes in my life about them. I know I need to get up and go to bed regardless of what else is happening and go to sleep and rest. I know that I need to spend time in quiet. It's easy to run away from quiet because quiet means that all the noise comes rushing in. It can be scary to be quiet because all the stuff we push to the corners of our brains and the corners of our consciousness come to the forefront when we take time to meditate on ourselves and be quiet. And it's easy to try to run away from that by, watching TV until you go to bed and collapsing and falling and waking up and go into the process and move and do and go and do and move and go and do. But if we don't heal ourselves, if we don't allow ourselves to be healed, if we are not true to ourselves about ourselves, not only does it affect us, it affects those around us. I shared with a gentleman recently. He shared with me that he had problems sleeping. He was having problems sleeping. He had a bad night. And when he got up in the morning, with his children were getting up to school, he went in to one of his children's room that evening and laid on the bed next to them. Is how he fell asleep. And he got up in the morning and he gave them big hugs. And he said, my children made me feel better. And I shared with him, I was really happy that had happened. And my question to him was, had he considered that maybe he had then poured his in receiving positive energy from the spirits of his children, had he considered that he had possibly poured some of his poor spirit into them before they had left for their day? When we talk about protecting our families and those we love, sometimes we don't realize that the energies we carry translate and transmit to those that are around us. And there are kids who go to school during the day and get in trouble for having attitudes, which may not have anything to do with the kids. It may be what was poured onto them or left onto them before they left the house today. And we carry it with us. We've gotten used to carrying all of our baggage to work with us, and then locking in arms with everybody else who's got baggage they've been carrying around all night. You have to learn to release your energy through spiritual connection, through meditation, so that when you connect with the people who matter with you, you bring light to the space. As an empath, that's a big deal. When I go to work, I can literally tell what's happening in the building before anybody has said good morning to me. I can feel it. And so I try to be mindful of my energy, and that is in the realm of anger. That is your physical energy, your emotional energy, your sexual energy. All of those things you have to protect and guard and release at appropriate places, and be careful how you transmit that to and receive from others. And it requires that you be in touch with yourself. That is when we begin to live a healthy life and a healthy lifestyle for healthy living. And that's my encouragement for today. Take some time to be quiet, but also take some time to laugh. Take some time to be a kid again. Run down the street. I got on, Dee and I rode bikes the other day. Bikes been sitting in the garage. We rode bikes, pumped up the tires, and rode bikes. Now, the thighs and knees were hurting at the end, but it was a great experience. You don't realize you miss it till you're doing it. It's like wanting to slide down the slide again or jump on the swing, or, Have some fun. Go to the zoo. Do things you did when you were not worried about being a kid. I have a coloring book. Sometimes I color. It's just the little things that we do to increase our ability to see life for what it is and enjoy happiness. I encourage you all to continue to tap into your special selves. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me this afternoon, this evening. Take care of yourselves. Life is short and fleeting, and we have today. We have today. Love on yourself. Um, be honest with yourself about your challenges and face them. And don't face them alone. Link in with people who support you, who will hold you accountable. As they say, who will hold your feet to the flame, and go get it. Be healthy. I love you. This is Herman from H&D Abroad. Don't forget to hit the like button, please. Don't forget to share. And we'll see you soon. See you later. Bye.